discussing the solution or the best way forward. With the solutions on hand that the government has put forward in the form of different funding and information, how do you feel like we could, as communities and as business associations and members of different groups, how do you feel like we could do in terms to help spread that information and help these businesses not only access the funds, but understand where they are or what can be done with what has been provided to help them reopen, as a lot of communities are starting to kind of move towards that. I wouldn't say normalcy, but moving back towards being able to, come outside and for businesses to kind of start opening again. How do we help make sure everyone has access to the information and kind of how to use those funds and how to put your best foot forward, and as many of us as possible, by whether it's on our own or through accessing this information or these funds, to be able to kind of rise again and stand strong until things get a little bit better, or we start to see some of these answers. Ed, why don't we start with you?
Look, I don't want to be negative on this one fact, but I'm going to be very straightforward and honest when I say this. Ben made a very powerful statement in reference to actually it's more of a question. Why are we not having these conversations? Why has nobody talked about the metrics? Like, why are they not talking about it? So let's really bring that out to the open, because I don't want to mince words or even try to be nice about this. Everything that you just talked about, Kevin, about how can we, those were the conversations for April, May, June, July last year. They aren't the conversations for today. They're not even there. And the government has heard people on TV pleading, saying, hey, how come this guy is 100 yards away from me in a different color zone and he can have 50 people in his restaurant, I can only have 10, right? How come these things, and people are asking the questions, and the government and the elected officials are hearing these questions, but you don't hear anybody talking about metrics now, do you? And the reason why, and I'll say it straightforward, and they can argue it any way they want, I'm going to be very honest. Government is waiting for herd immunity and this to go away. They don't want to talk about a plan. They don't want to deal with these questions. They don't even want to address them. They're just trying to satisfy the emotion and the chaos. I'm going to be very straightforward when I see it, because I don't know how you don't talk about this problem after how many people have pleaded and got up and said, hey, I'm going bankrupt over this. I'm losing my company. This is what's happening to me. Has anybody seen about 100 of these different interviews over the last couple of weeks, or even 1,000? And there has not been yet. And everybody, how many people have asked about these metrics? Why am I different? Why are you treating me differently? Why am I not given that equal opportunity that Ben talked about? And you're not seeing any of that right now. So until the government stops with the lack of transparency, let's be honest, there is no transparency here. We're not talking about metrics. We're not talking about plans. We are, like us four and everybody that's attended, but the government's not. And until people start putting pressure on, you can't close without a metric. You can't close without science. You cannot. Until they determine that, we're really just in dreamland hoping for something better to happen. None of these suggestions are going to work until, like Ben already said, we start having an honest conversation, which is what we're failing to do. And sorry, if you want to know why business owners and everybody won't jump on a positive wagon of let's go strike around. Remember when this happened and people were clapping for essential workers? Remember that? You don't see that no more. And why don't you? Because someone will say, hey, I didn't know the guy went away on a vacation when he wasn't supposed to. And then you find out he knew 2 weeks before that. Look, everybody's been caught in lies and different ways of evading. I think right now we're getting to a place if we're going to start progressing, we need to start really being accountable, truly honest, and admit that we made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.